Now this illustration deals with a combination of conductors pulled through a raceway. Now here we're using EMT tubing. Now notice we have 12 number 14s, 4 number 12s, and 4 number 10, AWG, THWN, copper conductors. Pulling them through EMT. And notice the raceway, we're allowed a 40% fill when we review our table 4 for the 40% fill. So you'll have a 40% fill in that table where you have over 2 conductors, 40% fill. Then you'll have a nipple at 60% fill, which we'll be looking at coming up. Then you'll have the conduit, such as EMT, with this 100% fill. So since we're 40% fill, you see the space you have left in that conduit. So the conductors could be loaded up and they could breathe and not overheat the insulation or damage the insulation when you're pulling them in. And again, you have to see how many bends do you have in the conduit and that kind of thing, as we've mentioned before. But now notice, sometimes what an electrician will do, where you have 4 number 10s, they make everything number 10. Then go to the Annex C, very front of the Annex C. EMT is what we're using. So you just scan there, and that's table 1. That's easy to find. Now, the 1 inch and the raceway fill area, tables 4 and 5 to chapter 9 are utilized. The 40% rule that we would review from the table, notice 40% of 0.864, which is the 100% fill for 1 inch EMT. And notice we're allowed 0.3456 fill area in square inches. And if we had a nipple, and remember, nipple's 24 inches or less in length. If you're over 24 inches, the inspector can classify that a raceway. So you don't get a 60% fill. You get a 40% fill, and you have to derate if you have, say, 4 more current-carrying conductors. But if it's a nipple, there's no derate no matter how many conductors you pull in the nipple, because it's short and it can breathe into other opening of enclosures. So you get 60% fill. Now, do you see the difference in the fill there? For a 40% fill, it's 0.3456. For the 60% fill, it's 0.5184. So there's a big difference. And notice with a nipple, the fittings listed properly can support the nipple from point to point where it connects. And also there's no derating, no matter how many conductors you pull in. So it's very important to know it because, or know this, because the inspector, if they come out there and you're saying you're a nipple and you're over 2 foot, they can say, no, you're not. And they can take you to these tables and verify that. So keep that in mind when you have a combination fill. And we're going to see exactly how we would make this calculation in the next illustration.